Holy freaking shit, guys. It's Brandon, and guess what? I'm back with another Yellowjackets review. I'm sorry. I don't want to cry. It's the final one of the season. Yeah, and I was way off, by the way. Last week, I was like, only 2 episodes left, guys. Oh my God, can you believe it? At least I think I said that. I don't know if that was verbatim what I said, but silly, dumbass old me did not realize this is the fucking finale. So there was like a part of me after I did that review, maybe 2 days had passed, and it was like a Wednesday. And obviously, if you have Showtime Anytime, little tidbit if you didn't know about, you can watch these at like midnight, Friday. As soon as it hits Friday, as soon as Friday hits the clock, 12 a.m., you can watch this shit. I normally wait till about Sunday because I'm a weirdo and I'm always real busy. But you can technically do that. So on Wednesday, when I was just 2 days out from potentially being able to watch the final episode, I'm sitting there thinking, there's 10 episodes in the season, people. So a part of me on Wednesday was like, oh my God, well, let's get ready. This is it. Holy shit. But the other part of me was like, fuck, this is it? Shit. Why didn't I have the memo? Who's got the memo? Sorry for being emotional and angry. But man, this episode has a, tendency to do that as well, did it not? This episode was fucked. It definitely had all the inquiries of a season finale. I'll say that. Let me say that real quick. It definitely had all the inquiries of a season finale. Okay, I appreciate you. Let me say that real quick. This fucking episode, it's one of those where, like, you almost don't even know where to begin, guys. Like, a lot of shit happened. And at the same time, not a lot of shit happened, but at the same time, once again, to use that saying, the shit that did happen, happened, you know what I mean? Obviously, it's a spoiler review. I got that in the title. We lost a character favorite in this episode, all while in a weird juxtaposed position, it elevated the same character, but, different characters, past and future. Yeah, so that's a weird dichotomy they have going on with that. We'll talk about that, though. So let's just talk about, the first elephant in the room that we kind of got to touch on, but now we're getting to witness the aftermath of it all. Lottie obviously beat the fuck up. And Misty coming up like, oh, Lottie's so fucking happy. She's happy. The wilderness is pleased and all this shit. And Lottie's like, no, we're not that pleased. Like, this is horrible. I didn't want it to be like this. And what is she talking about, people? They're pleased with Javi. Let me X out of this real quick before I fuck everything up. Again, knee-jerk reaction reviews. That's what we do here. A little off kilter. But it's all about Javi. Now we're getting to see the aftermath of this, which is really painful, especially for Travis, dude. Can we not have a moment to feel for Travis here? Because this man, the fact that he's on edge worried about Nat, and then Nat comes, through the little brush, the trees, what have you, and he's got this look of, like, relief that washes over his face. And you can only imagine putting yourself in his shoes like, oh my God, I thought you were dead. Thank God. I'm so happy you're alive, Javi. Only to find out, even worse, his brother is fucking dead. So, not the best trade-off there, huh? And the way they just treat Javi, because they're obviously going to eat him, Avi going to eat Javi, not to rhyme there, it's completely fucked. Every bit of it's fucked. Looking at the way they go about it, like, it makes sense. But also, it's like part of your crew. Jackie was already dead. This felt more on the nose, obviously. Even though they let it happen rather than kill deliberately, still, it's pretty deliberate when you let the motherfucker drown. And just the route they take where you can just see it in them. They're like, it's survival at this point. They don't seem to give a fuck. Last time it was almost like organic. They woke up with Jackie just being like, what's that smell? They're like, oh, well, I mean, if it's here. This was like, let's prep. They had to prep. The wilderness didn't prep for them. They had to prep everything. They went out there and had Shauna cut this motherfucker's throat like he was like a deer, dude. And looking at his cold, dead body was just like, wow. And Shauna even tells the rest of the girls, like, y'all might want to go inside because, yeah, this isn't good. And, there was some trepidation there for sure from Shauna, but everybody knew what the fuck they were going to do. And especially when they first were going to get Javi's body and Travis is still out there with them and he's looking back at Shauna who's just holding the knife. It's like, what do you do there? I mean, you're about to go next if you try to defend your brother's, corpse. And then you're like, it is just a corpse, which was an interesting conversation Van had with Travis. Because what in the hell, dude? Let's talk about that conversation. Just Van being like, it's a weird dynamic you have going here because it almost makes sense to where you can almost justify these heinous, fucked up acts. But she's sitting there in the corner saying to, Travis, like, hey, man, like, the least you could do is let your brother save you, which is kind of, like, true, but it also sounds like just a fucked up way to spin, hey, you're eating your brother. Because, I mean, I have a brother. I don't know if you have a brother, but can you imagine eating him? Doesn't sound too pleasant. And the way they approach this thing where they come out with the body parts, which look damn good, by the way. I'm going to have to go on the dark web and see what this human's tasting like. Because, damn, bro. I mean, it looked like steak. It looked good. Okay, back to normal. I'm serious. No, I'm not. Am I? God. No, obviously not. But they approach Travis with the heart, which is somehow almost worse. I don't know what the meat was almost like you could maybe fuck with your brain. Like, oh, it's just steak, it's steak. But you bring over a heart, like, animals have hearts, so that, you could trick your brain like, oh, this is a deer heart, whatever the fuck you got to do. But they're bringing over the heart just like, this was your brother's, I want you to have it type of deal. It feels more personal. And this motherfucker takes a bite before he puts it in the fire. Do you do that? Or do you go on the route that maybe he's thinking where he's like, fuck it, I'm all in on this. If I'm going to do it, I might as well go all out. Arr! Yeah, like, arr! Hit him with one of them. I don't think I could do that. And here's the thing. This is where it gets interesting with all this shit. Because it's so easy for us, right, to just be sitting back, like, on our couches, like, oh, I mean, I might be hungry, but I'm not going to eat my brother, okay? I'm not going to go that far. But you are not in that situation, bro. You are not starving to death. Are you? It's always easy to be that guy on the outside looking in like, that's drastic. That's downright drastic. No, bro, it's not drastic. It's do or die survival. And the meat might taste fantastic. Now we're really rhyming. And that was intentional. I always say it's unintentional. That was intentional. Okay, I don't know. Never had human meat before, people, but they seem to be enjoying it. That's the strange part. They really are, they're getting in there. And, we get another reveal. Lottie finally makes her way down the steps from her little upstairs dungeon. I guess that doesn't work. Dungeons are more downstairs, right? Whatever. What the fuck ever. Her attic. And when she comes down, she's basically saying, I ain't shit. Like, we need to anoint who always needed to be anointed. And who might that be, people? Is it Shauna? Is it Van? Is it Thaisa? Is it Misty? It's gotta be Misty. No, bro. It's young Nat. And something about young Nat just sounds like, the best upcoming female rapper name that's about to just drop a hot 16 on a hot ass mixtape. But young Nat is now all that. She is, we just keep rhyming here. Maybe we should drop a mixtape. This is cool. But the reveal we get right after it is not. Oh my God, Nat, Jesus. We'll get to that. But it's interesting where, because you got one, I mean, we can just come out and say it. The bigger elephant in the room. Obviously, something bad happens to Natalie. Very bad. About as bad as it gets to adult Natalie. But it's wild because it's almost like they're rewarding us with younger Natalie. So we're like, oh, character close here, problematic. oh my God, this is painful to watch. Beloved character, main character in the show, one of the main characters, you know. But at the same time, we're vaulting young Nat, who's another favorite, just the front and center, which is very interesting. And there's a part of me that wonders if they didn't want to even kill old Nat to begin with. Let's just throw that out there. That's something I'll talk about in a second. But if they almost felt obligated to do it, it's like, you know, she's one of the more popular younger characters, and if we're going to fucking off older Nat, let's at least, like, really shine some light on younger Nat. So it's like, okay, we're putting this story to bed, and it's a fitting conclusion for her. I do believe that. I do. I'm not one of those people. I think this is more than fitting for Nat. Old Nat, obviously. But for young Nat, now we can take all that light that was with old Nat and we can shine it even brighter on young Nat. And is that organic amongst the story? I mean, it feels that way, so it's cool. But is it organic amongst their original intentions? Or maybe they didn't want to kill old Nat and they're like, you know what, we better at least boost young Nat up because people are going to be pissed. And let me tell you, people are pissed. I think they've even received some death threats. Because the reason I say that is there's a lot of people that are murmuring, saying that maybe Juliette Lewis wanted off the show because all the addiction and problems Nat was facing was a little too close to home in the actress's real life. Actor's real life. Actress. What is this fucking word? Get the fuck out of here with that. Actor's real life. Very curious if their hand was a little forced with that on the young Nat side of things. Either way, though, being a big fan of young Nat, my favorite of the younger girls by a mile, I'm here for it. Very cool. Does this mean she's Antler Queen? You could definitely go there with it. Is she, though? This show might fucking do a twisty-turny on you. You never know. Even though there was that quick still image, I don't know if y'all saw, where older Nat had the antlers on when she was having visions with Lottie up in her little loft. So definitely point in that direction. Is that it, though? Is it ever just that with this show? There's always a little twisty fucking turning. So that's interesting. Adult life. Let's jump over there. You know, migrate with me. This is a whole can of worms because you know they're about to all kill each other. Somebody got to die. Not all kill each other at once, but all gonna kill one person because they decided to go away from liquor roulette, as we'll call it. Russian roulette is what I called it last week with shots, and I think that's what they ended up calling it this week, so that's pretty on the money. I don't know the technical term of what is in the liquor for the shot of death, if you will. So now they're planning on doing, you know, their old school method where they're going to draw a card and all the girls are going to chase the one and hunt them down, and they have the option of submitting or running, which is interesting, which we just saw in the prior episode, kind of what that's like, where that's the whole fucking fiasco that led to Javi dying, where Nat was getting chased because she drew the Queen of Hearts that we had seen, I believe of Hearts. So we now are built up to that. And while that's going on, rewind it real quick, Walter comes back into the picture, which is cool. We finally get to see his intentions, or at least his intentions where the season ends. They're good intentions. Not for certain people, but for the crew we know and love. Certain people being, what the fuck's dude's last name? Saruska, and Kevin. You know, Kevin, police officer, was good friends with Shauna, and then the one dude that's trying to sleep with Shauna's younger kid, not really, but act like he's getting in her pants to undercut all of the things that Shauna has done to cover up her shit with Javi. Not Javi, what the fuck? Adam is Javi. It's still in my head with Adam, who they obviously killed. These motherfuckers, cops, uno, dos, get led to the, what do we call it? The compound. Fly just flew past my head. I'm about to kill that later. Whew, the show's teaching me so much. I'm a murderer now. The compound, because Jeff and Callie are on their way to the compound looking for it, and as they pull up, they freak out because, you know, some purple shirt motherfuckers come up to the gate and like, okay, let's find another way in. And here's Officer Dickhead and Slight Dickhead behind them. Shouldn't call other dude a dickhead. He's just trying to do his job. But come on, help your girl out. Shauna don't need this right now. So now they know exactly where they need to be. So now they get inserted into the mix, and we just have everybody in one fucking spot, and we know it's all going to go to hell. Walter talks to Kevin. Slightly good cop, not as much as a douche, Kevin. He meets him in the kitchen and talking about like, hey, I have some questions about Shauna and all this other shit. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, are you like a detective? And he's just like, yeah, I'm a detective. He's like, oh, I'm kind of a detective. I'm a citizen detective. As if that fucking matters to this cop. There's always that one guy that's got to be like, oh, well, I don't know if you've heard of this. I've done some work as well, you know, to anybody in like an actual respected field that's just like, bro, why are you telling me this right now? That's kind of the vibe I got. But in the end, that's Walter maybe playing this motherfucker, because Walter is a little evil genius in this episode, is he not? Like, he is so relaxed yet deliberate in the way he handles this situation. Like, cool as a cucumber. This isn't my first time. I've been here before. Walter is a motherfucking crazy fuck, and if this episode didn't show it, him and Misty are still perfect for each other. Unless, again, he kind of goes off the beaten path and is more fucked up than we realize once up. Again, who knows, dude? More twisty turnies. But he put something in Kevin's drink. Jeff, you know, like, let me handle this, goes inside. He's basically going to tell Kevin, like, hey, it was me. I didn't want Shauna to do it. And he's breaking down, and it's, like, really believable. Walter, here in a second, is going to come in and let him know that. And Kevin out of nowhere listened to it after Jeff just says he committed the murder. He killed Adam. You got to believe me. Passes out. And for some reason, this scene cracks me the fuck up. Jeff is the funniest person in this fucking show. There's no book club. Jeff is the best. He just sits there and immediately is like, what the fuck? With like tears in his eyes, had me fucking rolling. Immediately gets down there. And then Walter comes in. He's like, oh, like, who the fuck are you? And he's basically like laying him out. He's like, Jeffrey, can I call you that? Does anybody call you that? And he's just like, my mom. He's like, wait a minute. Like, my mom don't even call me that. And he's like, look, Jeff, I know you're freaking out right now, but I'm a friend. Now, I need you to grab his legs, and we need to get this body out of here, okay? Now, come on. If we're going to get out of this. And, you know, Jeff's got a big decision to make. He could say, like, no, I'm done with this, but he ends up trusting Walter, and, you know, worked out. That whole scene was fucking funny. But then we circle back around, and we kind of look at what's happening, about the big, you know, big deal of this episode. Is somebody really going to be offed? They're in the middle of the woods, and they're drawing cards again. And it's pretty intense. And it starts to speed up where it's just like shit as they're passing, you know, each card around the deck or whatever. And it comes back to, you know, Lottie again. And Lottie's just like, all right, we draw again. And then it's like, and you're just like, fuck, dude, who is going to draw this? And it finally stops, and it doesn't show the face, but you see the sweater or the jacket, whatever the fuck. And you're immediately like, oh my God, that's Shauna. And then it comes up, and it's like, Shauna drew the queen. And now all of a sudden, is Shauna actually going like, well, I mean, you know, like if somebody else drew it, would she still be all in? Or is she going, you know, well, are we actually going to do this because she really didn't believe it from the jump? Or is she just like, I don't want to die. So actually, on second thought, I was adding up the chances. I didn't think it was going to be me. Come on, guys, let's talk about this. And I got to tell you, like, all the other girls, like, there's not like a, Shauna, God, I'm so sorry. They immediately double back for their masks and their weapons, and they're just like, Lottie's like, are you choosing to run? Are you choosing to submit? Like, so is that what, are you running? Because she starts walking away. And they start making the little whoop whoop like noises, like whatever the whoop whoop noises they do that I can't do to save my life. I would sound like whoop. There it is over here, and they start chasing Shauna. And Shauna's doing like a slight jog that's getting a little faster. Where she's like fuck, fuck, fuck. And Callie, kind of wondering where she went. Right, she ran into the other officer, Sir Dushka, whatever the fuck, Serdushka, however the fuck you say his name. They get into it, but then out of nowhere, he gets a call from Kevin, who's passed out. So you're wondering what's going on with that. So he's got to fucking leave. And that leads to Callie coming over with a gun. I thought it might happen here, people. I said Callie was going to have to kill that guy, and it did not happen. thought it was about to, but she runs over because she also has more important matters because she runs into her mother almost dying. Gunshot interrupts everything. She just shot Lottie in the shoulder. She's like, get the fuck away from my mom. And Shauna immediately comes to her friend's defense. Like, I know it looks crazy, you know, almost just like, this is just how we hang out, honey. And, you know, Callie's probably like, fucking, y'all are fucking insane. What is wrong with you people? Even as a viewer who loves these people and has seen all their gritty little backstory, not all of it, obviously, because some of it hasn't played out over subsequent seasons, but what we've seen so far, even we're kind of like, you know, she's got a fucking point, you know? We might as well be a friend in the room. These motherfuckers are crazy. And sometimes you forget that because you see it so often, but then you see it, imagine yourself from her perspective firsthand. Like, are you defending them right now? She's about to stab you, Mom. I don't give a shit if that's Lottie. And Lottie is like, oh my God, it's your daughter. Acting weird, taking the mask off. And everything seems like it's kind of broken up. Everything isn't going according to plan, if you will. And you're wondering, what's going to happen here? What's going on? Well, Lisa comes out of nowhere. And she out of nowhere has beef with fucking Nat. And Nat's over here like, I told you to leave. Didn't I not tell you? You need to go. Some shit was going to go down. And she's now threatening Natalie. And you're seeing this play out. And she's trying to calm Natalie down. And Misty, dude. What are you doing, Misty? Just jumping into the action. Comes over with that syringe with the drug in it. Tries to fuck up Lisa. And Natalie kind of, even though she's being threatened by Lisa, first of all, she kind of owed her one because she tried to stab her in the eye the first time she fucking met her. Pushed her out of the way and boom, hits Nat right there. Now, I will say this much. This is where you get to, if you don't care about spoilers, Nat goes, dude. And it's emotional. And it works sometimes when things are out of left field. But there's a part of me that it was so out of left field, it didn't feel as warranted for such a main character. But I'm on the fence about it because it also makes it that fucking great because it's so out of nowhere and surprising, and the shock factor is more surreal. And we did get everything on the back end where we kind of had the quick flashes and we got to see her on the plane and she saw Javi and Javi's like, it's not that bad. And then she sees younger version of herself, and younger version of herself is talking to her because she's like, I don't need to be here. I don't deserve to be here. And she's younger. Nat is saying, we've always been here. Like, we do deserve to be here. And Lottie's sitting next to her now, telling her, like, just embrace it. It's not here to hurt you. And it's just, like, such a fucked up, chilling, emotional scene. And might I say real quick, the music in this episode, much like the whole fucking series, not just this season, the first season, top tier in this episode. With Zombie playing and all the other songs they choose. The music they have going here, Radiohead is what's going on in this, one of their songs. So amazing. Just basically shaping Nat's life as it fades right before her eyes and our eyes as we're still in shock with our jaw drop. Like, is Nat really gonna fucking die right now? Because that's all I was asking. Not on the inside either. Like, out loud, I just kept saying out loud, like, are they really gonna kill Nat right now? Because I was shocked. Nat right now? Hurts. Don't know how to feel about it initially, but I'm also that weird morbid guy that's like good. Because even though she might be my favorite character, this is what I love in shows. Shows that don't have balls, shows that don't have stakes, shows that don't have the ability to realize you got to kill off a fucking main character to make everything feel like everything's on the table. Because when you keep letting people slide, you keep letting people live season by season by season by season, it takes away you start to have this built-in feeling of just like the suspense isn't there as much because they're gonna make. I've seen this movie before. They're gonna make it. Obviously, it's Nat. Like, you know what I mean? When you throw a wrench in like that, where you now don't have it built in, you're like, they're gonna make it. It's Nat. Or like now you're like, oh, she's gonna make it. It's Misty. You're like, oh, well, maybe not. Nat. They killed off Nat, didn't they? Then they definitely could kill off Misty. That raises the pressure and suspense of the show going forward. So overall, I'm not going to send you a death threat. I'm going to give you a round of fucking applause, Yellowjackets. I might be one of the few. You hurt my soul here, but you did it in the best way possible when you think of the actual scope of the show going forward. This type of stuff is important, people, to building suspense and making you feel like, God damn, like, no one's safe. That is a good feeling when you're watching a show because it makes you on the edge of your seat, and do we not want that? Tough to watch her go, but damn. She went out like a boss, though. She killed it. When we go back and watch the show, we're going to always be like, damn, it sucks in season 2, but young Nat is still the fucking shit. And Juliette Lewis, man, how good was she for just 2 seasons? We're going to have that. And we're going to take solace in that. It's tough now, people. Stick it out. Then it's going to end up being, I think, a good move. And what really helps this show is it doesn't just have one character you come to the show for. All those older characters. Taissa was the only one I couldn't really get into. She took a step further this year with how, like, she was going insane. The actress really stepped up her shit. And then now I think Van's blending in nice. Lottie's blending in nice. If they choose to bring on any more people, I'm sure they'll blend in nice too. The casting on the show is amazing. We're going to be fine. It's going to suck because we love Nat, but we're going to be fine. And younger Nat, like I said earlier, is now going to be vaulted to the forefront. It's going to work itself out, especially if this was hurting the actress Juliette Lewis in real life. If those little murmurs and rumors are true, all the best to her. And I'm glad that, she got to be a part of this amazing experience that we're just buzzing about, Yellowjackets, but also just for her to, have peace of mind to step away and know, if that is the case, that, we're not mad. Like, health and safety first. It's bigger than just a fucking TV show because sometimes we get lost in that. It's just a show at the end of the day. But of course, let's talk about something else that's really fucking sad about this. The aftermath and watching Misty, man. She, for whatever reason, really, really clinged to Nat. And just to even hear her say it, I was already thinking it. Because Walter comes up, because he fucking, let's kind of skimmed over that, where one douchebag cop, Sir Dushka, let's keep calling him that, if that's even his name, I think it's Saruska. I think it's his last name. He runs over, and Walter, again, cool as a fucking cucumber, dude, runs up, takes his gun real quick because he's like, are you in the trunk? The trunk gets open, grabs the gun out of cop's fucking holster, shoots, Kevin in the fucking trunk, and then comes over to douche cop. Now it's just douche cop. And he's like, hey, like, you got a choice. And fucking frames his shit, dude. Like, cops are on the way, you're gonna be fucked, blah, 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 blah. Or we can make it look like he framed the whole situation and you can fucking be the talk of the town, yada, 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 something like that. Can't remember everything verbatim. You get it if you watched it. Either way, he's like, you got a choice. I already took the liberty of contacting the authorities, is like what he said to him, I think, actually, verbatim. You can hear the cops in the background. He's like, I wouldn't leave that trunk open till you made your decision. Walter ducks off. Calm as shit. And now, of course, douchebag cop is like, fuck! Like, I got a choice. Fast forward to where we were. Walter is like, oh my God, I took care of it. It's okay, Misty. He'll bet a big hug, and you love to see them reunite. And at least Misty truly has somebody. Like, her and Nat, it was more of a one-sided relationship. But it's cool to see, it's reflecting on both sides. So I think Misty's going to be okay with this Walter situation. Again, he's perfect for her as long as Walter doesn't end up being a fucking asshole. But Walter, Misty, as they're just in that moment together, hearing Misty just say, Walter, I killed my best friend. Like, it broke my heart. As fucked up as Misty is, she cared so much about Natalie. And to hear her now feeling like she's going to have to live with this for the rest of time, it's going to be really interesting to see how this affects her as a character emotionally going forward. And I'm totally here for it because I think it's going to make for some great television. And, man, I hope she's not down in the dumps for too long because Misty needs to be, even when she's depressed, she kind of has that, like, spark to her. Like, she hides it, but you can see it in the eyes that she's really hurt. I hope this isn't the thing that just completely breaks her and makes her not herself. But it also might end up being a good character arc thing where she isn't for a while and then she becomes herself again in, like, a fucking saving kind of way. Lottie gets treated with her injuries. Everything is, fine for the most part. We thought Lottie was going to get taken away for being insane again. Van's like, well, fuck off. Like, we're the reason she's this way. There was that whole little moment. But here's the thing, though. It's going to be interesting to see where they go from here. Because I don't know where they go from here exactly. Like, what is the next move? It's going to be really interesting. But that's what this show does. It leaves you either like, oh my God, I need that now. I got to figure out this, this, and this, and this. And they just dangle it in front of you, but you can't quite reach it. But it keeps you coming back. And they have just enough interesting stuff to vault you forward, all while creating more and more new mystery. But there's also the element of just like some shit that you have no clue what's going to happen, and you're here for that because you're like, how in the world are they going to even make that work? And you're interested in seeing how they can make shit click. What is season 3 going to be about in terms of the adults? Where do they go from here in the aftermath of Nat being dead? Do they invite in new characters? What is going to fucking happen, guys? Give me your theories. What's going to go down? Obviously, there's one more thing we got to talk about. When they're at the cabin, they just talked about, of course, we're back on the younger crew, the wilderness crew. Nat I made it all the more emotional when older Nat died. Just watching younger Nat as they were all almost like bowing to her as like the new queen bee, if you will. And it was just the pick me up, just like, God, dude, Nat, like, you deserve this. You're the coolest of the cool. And then a few moments later, you're like, fuck, they just killed Nat. What the fuck? It was such a what the fuck. High for the character, low for the character. Tough one to, sink your teeth into for sure. But it happened. Got rolled the punches. Nat, right after that, we had seen Coach Ben. Let's talk about him for a second, because he actually had a little moment where he was out in the fucking wilderness and he found where Javi was holding up. He's like, hey, runs into, Nat after he saw like a, little trail of blood. They were thinking, oh man, we got some food. Like, let's eat. He finds out it's Javi and you're just like, oh my fucking God. Nat comes through the brush and he's like, Nat, like, we got to get the fuck away from these people. You're not like them. Da 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 da. You got to come with me. I found where Javi's holding up. We got a good little spot. And Nat basically tells him straight up, like, you're a good person. I'm not. I'm worse. I watched Javi die. And Coach Ben's like, what? Like, can't believe it. Like, I can't even put faith into you, bitch. What the fuck? This is why I'm gay. I hate women. And Travis. So he just is like, awkward moment. They're like, if that's how it's going to be, breaks off. Now, there's some theories running around because, of course, Coach Ben, did he or didn't he? Seems like he did, but did he or didn't he? Again, with the show, you never know. Sets a fire to the cabin while all the girls are inside of it and seemingly had it boarded up in some way because they're like, the door's stuck. They couldn't get out initially. Shauna, who's writing in her little journal about feeling inferior and shit, God knows what the fuck this bitch is going to do next. I mean, we're still fresh off of her beating Lottie to a pulp. The bitch lost her mind, so God knows what she's going to do next. Senses that something's kind of wrong, sees smoke. Everything's on fire. She runs outside like, everybody wake up, it's fucking on fire. Now, before this fire happened, this is where Coach Ben comes into play. He would obviously be the person you would think would do it. But you also have it from the standpoint of just obviously it'd be him, because what happens? It shows him outside of the cabin, and he's literally holding up matches, and he's looking inside, and that is the last time we see him. Seems to be the obvious culprit. Who the hell else is out there? Now, maybe they add in someone else for some apparent reason, but I don't know how it couldn't be him. But there's a lot of people saying maybe it wasn't him. And you know what? With this show, wouldn't surprise. Maybe the fucking wilderness did it. Who knows? Like, oh, good idea, Coach Ben, but I'll take it from here. Who the fuck knows? But everybody gets out. They're all looking at it in flames, and you can see just the anger and hurt on their faces because, all they had time to grab were blankets. Where are they going to hold up? At least most of the winter has seemingly passed. But where do they go from here? That was their home. That was a roof over their heads. What are they going to do? And that's going to be interesting going forward. And do they go look for fucking Coach Ben, like, you motherfucker. And is this where we find out that he actually didn't do it for some weird reason? Is there maybe another crew in this wilderness, like the Whisperers or some shit in The Walking Dead or fucking the others from Lost? Everybody says it's going to go full Lost. Who knows? Who knows with any of this shit? But damn it, man. What a fucking emotional, I have more questions, goddamn, this is it! Finale. I've heard other murmurs about maybe there's a secret episode. I don't even know, man, because I don't even know if it's gonna help. Crazy shit happened. They're not gonna fucking wrap it up well in a 10th episode that I thought initially they're gonna have. They're just not. I need another full season. Let's just start season 3 next week. Don't give me another episode. I need season 3 next week. This is crazy shit. 9 episodes though, guys. Come on, man. Make it an even 10. The first season was even 10, right? I guess that's why I thought it would be 10 episodes. Sorry, guys, I was sleeping on that, but that's pretty much the recap, the feels, what's going through my mind. I don't even know, man. This shit is fucking crazy. This show's fucking crazy. What am I going to do with this show? Why do I watch it? I don't know. I love it, though. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Sorry this came out a day later. Just been real busy, and honestly, after I watched this episode, it's like, I don't need to let this simmer for a little bit. And you know what? It's not like I'm in a race. Like, this isn't a thing where, like, I don't necessarily, like, I want to get stuff out quick because that's the objective as, like, a YouTuber. You want to be like, oh, first come, first serve. But at the same time, it's not all about views and shit like that. Like, that's cool, obviously. But for the people that this does get to, the few people that give me feedback, you know, whether it be on here or message me or whatever the fuck it is, like, hey, man, I really agree with that. Oh, that was a really cool review. I want to make sure that I'm in the right mindset to give this review. And I had a whole lot of just, like, after I first watched this, where I just feel like I was going to be saying, what the fuck, for like 30 straight minutes rather than this, which was hopefully, you know, I'm kind of all over the place with the way I do things, but that's just because I want it to be this certain way, you know. I want it to be coherent, but also kind of not, you know, don't write anything down, just off the top. This is how I felt here. This is how I felt there. Let's kind of skim over here. Let's kind of do that shit. That's the type of vibe I want for this channel, and I wanted to make sure I had that for y'all, and I kind of want to do a longer review, and I did that. Holy shit, I just looked at the time. It's like 40 minutes. Also, I might be tripping. I'm looking like I might be in and out of focus here. God damn it. I did 38 minutes. This is what y'all are getting. Hope y'all enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you enjoyed the season. If you didn't, let me know. Like, share, subscribe, comment, do all that good shit. Whatever the fuck all these YouTubers say. I don't know. I'm not a normal YouTuber. Love you guys. Peace. Let's hit 38 minutes. Okay, now we get it. No, we can't. I don't even have the stop. Should we go for 40 now? See you guys.